my name is Edgar Brun. I'm from the Norwegian Veterinary Institute, and I've been leading the work package for health management and diseases and fish welfare. I will just briefly talk about the work package as an overall thing, and then the task leaders will go more deeply into the various tasks. I think first I would like to sort of pay attention to, it's a very special day actually today. It's the 8th of June, which is the World Ocean Day. So it's a very suitable day to talk about diseases and health related to aquaculture and life in sea. And also, of course, that we have this decade of ocean science starting in 2021, running to 2030. So we are at the very start of many interesting aspects related to aquaculture and ocean. Let me see. I will just briefly talk about the background of the project, some objectives, the various tasks or topics, and some conclusions and recommendations. The first I would say is the background was related to the awareness of diseases as a major obstacle and a threat for sustainable growth of aquaculture industry in the Mediterranean. Diseases, I think, is one of the most important issues when we talk about sustainable growth. It's not only in the Mediterranean, but it's everywhere we're doing aquaculture. And because without a living animal, there is no production. And with diseased animals, we are using a lot more resources to gain the same production level as can be used without diseases. So relating to diseases is a major issue when it comes to aquaculture, as any other production of animal products. So the awareness of diseases, and also that there was a lack of knowledge connected to health management. That was the kind of a background for the whole proposal. And obviously that we need more awareness of welfare as an important management factor. So these three sort of key issues were the background for this work package. The work package was composed of, as you saw from the previous slides, from the logos, the partners from Egypt, Tunisia, Turkey, Greece, Italy, France, Spain, as a Mediterranean countries, and then Denmark and Norway. So we're covering pretty much the whole sort of production area connected to the Mediterranean. And keeping all these countries to Mediterranean was also important in underlying the importance and complexity of coordinating health management across this ocean or this basin, bordering actually 21 independent countries. And these countries also belong to various continents. So to have a so coherent awareness of health management could be quite complex and challenging. So in that sense, this project, including these various countries, tried to aim to see how this could be done in a more proper way. The overall objectives were to improve management using risk assessment tools, and especially looking at how can risk assessment tools be related to emerging pathogens. We also see, and as was sort of communicated on the previous slides, that this communication and harmonization is very important and challenging. So to have a common language when it comes to diagnostic competence and communication is very important in order to control diseases. So this was a major task as well in the work package. And obviously we need, even though we focus in general on biosecurity in this work package, we also included a specific preventive tool, to use that word, trying to develop a new vaccine platform to control VNN. This was identified as one of the more important or most important diseases related to sea bream and sea bass production in the Mediterranean. And again, this welfare focus and in order to have a objective, let's say, introduction or awareness of welfare, we need some operational indicators that can actually be measured in order to evaluate the welfare situation in the cages. And all these were aimed for the sea bass and sea bream production, although the welfare indicators in our project focused on sea bream, that will be mentioned later. Again, the task one on emerging diseases and risk assessment was led by the Norwegian Veterinary Institute. The diagnostic capacities and harmonizing of competencies were led from the Croatian Veterinary Institute. Vaccine strategy was led by DTU, Danish Technical University in Copenhagen, and welfare indicators was led by IRTA in Spain. So all these 4 tasks or topics will be presented by the various project or task leaders afterwards. Finally, for my presentation, I was just talking about conclusions and recommendations. This will also be mentioned, of course, more thoroughly in the later presentations. But I just wanted to emphasize on a few things. The need to harmonization in order to talk about disease management. We talk about harmonizations related to collection and registration of data. Not all data, obviously, but we need certain amount of data that's relevant for health management, basic health management, so we can apply that overall for the industry, not just for one company at a time. As mentioned, we also need this diagnostics harmonization. We need to know when a lab in Turkey talks about a disease or findings, this has to be the same as when labs in Spain, Italy, or wherever talks about the same diagnostic. That's a way of communication. So if you're not using the same language, we will not be able to communicate and make a difference. I also want to emphasize on transparency. This is one of the major challenges, I would say, in all aquaculture, to be open when it comes to certain diseases, mortalities, and some data. We cannot control or prevent diseases if we are not communicating in the same language, but also open to talk about essential issue related to diseases. And obviously, in order to prevent diseases, as I said, biosecurity is a general sort of approach, but we see that we need efficient vaccines, and vaccine challenges are a major challenge, I would say, to improve disease control in aquaculture. We see from the Norwegian experience that the whole production related to, the whole production is controlled through efficient bacteriological vaccines. We have no use of antibiotics in the Norwegian production due to efficient vaccines. So vaccines are very essential in order to control disease in general. So that's why this was emphasized in this work package as well, as will be talked about. And back again to the welfare indicators. This is something that is increasingly important. It's not just for the aquatic animal life. Of course, that is the major importance. But I would also say in order to improve the quality of the product and not least the perceptions of the products. We are producing this to feed the world, and we need to see or to make the impression or make sure that the aquatic animals are produced at a very high welfare standard. So all these 4 conclusions here will now be presented by the various task leaders. So I think I will just stop there and give the word to Soraya Tavampanic, who will start with the first work package on biosecurity and risk assessment.